So you've got the price, next purchase rate, retention rate, margin profit for both the one-time and the recurring revenue streams you have. What do you do next to get to your eventual LTV?
So the next thing we're going to do is put everything together to calculate the LTV. So the first step is really, taking the profits in year zero from the first revenue stream and the profit in year zero from the second revenue stream and putting everything together. And we do this for every single year after that. So Dan, do you want to help me do this?
I'm just an engineer. I don't know how to do math.
Oh, really? Well, they don't teach us that at Sloan either, so we'll just have to trust the numbers. And we can see that for year 0 and year 3, the sum of profits is a bit higher because that's when the repurchase of the actual device happens.
Yeah.
So we just add them up till year 5, and we got our total profits. The next stage is really to talk about the cost of capital. And that's really an indication of how risky the business is. And for us, given we're a very early company, it's a risky business. And we start in year 1 because today, well, this is today. We know what's happening, and it's happening live.
Why do you use 50%?
So we use 50% because that's what Bill told us.
And Bill, why did you tell them to use 50%?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of research out there that shows startup companies, the cost for them to get capital, as we spoke about earlier in the video, is going to be very high. It's risky, it's illiquid, you can't go out and get the money, you don't have the assets. So 50% is a nice round number. It could be higher than that. It's possible it could be lower. It's probably higher than that. But 50%, again, we're just trying to get in the ballpark here. We're trying to get in the mindset of what's going to drive the lifetime value here. So 50% is a good number, and that's what we recommend for entrepreneurs to go with.
And that's something we'll drag along till year 5.
Even though if you guys do well, your cost of capital will decrease because over the span of year 0 through year 5, you will de-risk your venture to a significant extent.
Exactly. But for the purpose of the calculation, we want to do an estimation and just we estimate it's going to stay at 50%. So the next step is to include the cost of capital. And the cost of capital is really an indication of how risky our business is. So we start in year 2 because year 1, because year 0 is the present, what's happening right now, and we assume a cost of capital of 50%.
Say more about that. Why 50%? Sounds like you're saying, well, our business is risky right now.
Sure. So it's, as I said, it's a proxy of how risky the business is. So there's a chance that it might be a bit higher or a bit lower, but we just want to get a kind of realistic number for the estimation of the LTV. And that number is a number we're going to drag along down to year 5, even though in year 5, if we make it to year 5, we'll be a bigger company, which is much less risky. So that cost might go down.
Yeah.
But for the purpose of the calculation, we assume it's going to stay stable at roughly 50%.
Bill, I imagine some of our students may stumble upon that. How do you even determine what your cost of capital is when you're such an early venture? What do you recommend?
Yeah, so there's research that's been done that shows that because it's illiquid, because it's very risky, because you have to spend time monitoring it if it's a startup, there's not kind of well-defined markets for this. It's actually higher than 50%. It could be slightly lower, but 50% is a good enough number, as Alessandro said, for this. So I recommend that you just go with 50%, understand what's going on, and understand how the cost of capital is so important, because you want to de-risk your business. If you can pull that cost of capital down, that will be enormously beneficial. But the reality is 50% is a good number, if not a conservative number.